perfect place to
We
go
need to
live.
just no, man.
No.
I ain't come out the window behind you.
No PSL for life.
No,
Pittsburgh
no.
Steelers for life.
We ain't even going there tonight. We ain't going there.
You just came and messed the spirit up. We had a good spirit going on right here. The Lord was just not in there.
Everything was flowing. Hey, Mika.
How you doing?
All
Good,
right,
how are
you.
How are you? Hey, everybody. Facebook family. Good evening. It is this special edition of I'm Saved and Struggling, part 2.0. Man, y'all need to jump on in with us tonight. Come on in, tag, and share, because it's going to get real tonight.
Come on in the room.
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, jump on in. By all means, tag and share with others and let them know we're here on this special edition, on this special night, on a Tuesday night. Jump on in with us. By all means, say hello to us. The numbers are slowly climbing, and we are glad to see that. Definitely jump on in with us tonight. As you guys can see, we are one couple short tonight, and we're a little saddened by that. We're a little saddened. We're missing the Harrises tonight. This being the kickoff to another school year. Dr. Tevis is busy handling those sort of things, but I understand behind the scenes, Dr. J is on duty. So, Dr. J, you could always hop in, if you like. We welcome you to hang out with us for a minute. But listen, y'all, it's gonna get real deep tonight. I promise you, it's gonna get deep, because when I tell you the responses from our first conversation, man, let me tell you some of the responses and some of the questions. There she is. Hey, Dr. J. There she is.
We miss y'all too.
Dr. J, look, if you just want to hop in for the fun of the party, come on in. We'll let you come in, even though Dr. T is not there. We'll let you in. It's all good. It's all good.
Come on.
Everybody's singing, come on in the room, Dr. J. Come on in the room. So listen, y'all, we're going to jump in and we're going to get started with this conversation. Y'all, in our last conversation, we really didn't have the time to talk like we really wanted to. But I was so amazed at some of the feedback that I got. Yeah, Dr. Janae, we miss you too. We miss you too. So, but anyway, I was so amazed by some of the responses that I got and some of the questions that I got and the things that people were saying they really wanted us to talk about in this second half. And so I'm just going to jump right into the conversation. Everybody knows everybody. We've got Team DeWitt hanging out with us from the Queen City, and we're glad to have them. That's the globe-trottling, traveling on excursion probation DeWitt. Let me tell
you all the business. You ain't right.
Tell y'all about that. Let me tell y'all, Mr. Lee, the Lee's in the house. Good to see y'all tonight.
Yes.
Listen. Let me tell y'all about it before we get started. Kaya, we took a trip to the Dominican Republic back in July, man, and the DeWitts went with us. All I'm gonna say is parts of my body that have never hurt before were hurting after that, and we all blame Shannon DeWitt for that. We
the whole government,
even her husband.
Did they have to go though?
Yeah.
See, they wanted to go. Don't do that. They wanted to go.
Imagine we paid for
it. Look,
had to go. We paid for it.
The excitement. I brought the excitement and the fun.
And she brought the pain along with the joy. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
And the scared. She was all scared.
Listen.
No pain, no gain, right?
Darius jumped in with us.
Come on, sir.
All jokes aside,
we had a ball.
We had a blast. But we had such a blast. We have put her on probation. She cannot plan any more excursions on our couples trips for the next 5 years. So
please, right.
My husband. It be your old people.
I told you.
Hurting the boat.
You're like, I'll take care of you when we get off.
So look, let's get into this conversation. Like I said, we had a lot going on. A lot of things came up, and I just want to jump in and just sort of feedback on some of the things that were shared with me. I actually had one that shared with me and asked that we talk a little bit more about how we maintain balance between home, family, and our careers, whether it be church or what have you. So we're definitely going to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
And then I actually had a minister say to me that he wanted us to talk a little bit about ways that we can help other couples develop and maintain trust in our walks and with everything that we do. How do we maintain the trust when we are apart from one another? And then I had a third one to come to me, and these are going to be the three we're going to tackle tonight. I had a third one to come to me and say to me, look, Pastor, I need y'all to talk a little bit about maintaining intimacy. Yeah. And basically, he said, when we're out, we're at the church, my wife is loving on any and everybody. Said, but when she gets home, there's no conversation, there's no nothing. And he said, it's frustrating. Help me out with that. So let's see if we can help our brothers and sisters out tonight, just a little bit with this. So I'm gonna jump on in it. I'm gonna jump right on in.
Come on in.
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna go swimming without a kayak tonight. I'm gonna jump right on in.
Get on out there. Get on out there. You go.
So let's jump. I told you, Dr. Janae, you need to jump in. Dr. Janae talking about it's gonna be lit tonight. I told you. The kids are 100, but look at it. It's either the kids or Tevis. It's gonna be one or the other. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be one or the other. Y'all, let's really talk about this balance piece, because really, in a sense, I think all of us will agree that is one of the biggest things that I think we all are working with or struggling with. I don't even want to call it a struggle. It's just something that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Dealing with maintaining balance and knowing how to keep everything, and above all, keeping the main thing the main thing. So let's talk a little bit about that tonight. Well, in our relationships, how do we deal with this balance piece? How do we deal with it? Who will jump in on that tonight? I'm gonna call on the DeWitts tonight. They've been married the longest, so dealing with it. I mean, and really, in a real sense, you guys have got that threefold piece, really, because you're in ministry, and then of course you guys deal with corporate America, and then the marriage and family. So tell us a little bit about the importance of balance and how you guys maintain it.
You start?
Well, first of all, balance comes with trust and everything else. So,
yeah, I was going to say, I feel like all these topics really tie in.
Isn't it amazing how they do?
My thing is being heard, soft spot in hard times, and that comes with trust. And if you can be there for the lows, then it's okay when the highs come. And my thing is, we got longevity in the game, but to keep longevity, we have to keep reinventing. Just keep doing it over and over again, and adding. And I feel like you have to make time to make time. Like you got to make yourself.
That's good.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I know we want to try to make it difficult. We want to, for the church people out there speaking tongues over it and all that good stuff. But really, it's a decision.
Every day.
Yeah.
And we forget the power of choice. Even God said, choose ye this day.
Yeah.
Okay. I make choice to make time and vice versa. Sometimes, watch this. Hear me good right here. You can tell other things no. Look at go.
Look at that.
Right.
I can say, no, I can't do that because I got this to do with my husband. Like, and again, my thing is I make time to make time. So when you talk about balance, I love it because when one of us is out of balance, I feel like the other recognizes it.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. And you have to be able to identify that. That's some of the love language. You have to be able to identify to keep being in love. Right. And if you don't recognize, you're gonna lose out. So when she's out of balance, I don't try to match that energy, but I try to to make it smooth it out a little bit so it'll be okay.
Why is it always me though?
And sometimes it's a lot of
we're not gonna touch that tonight. We're not gonna touch that.
Listen, I tell people all the time, our slogan is we don't lose, we win.
That's
and
it.
We win. But when people call a loss a loss, we call it a learn.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we try to learn from the mistakes, not to make them over and over again.
Again, all the time just to maintain that balance and keep who we know we are, right? Because if you get out of balance, to me too, you get away from who you are.
Right. It's the little things that she do to say, well, I guess she trusts me. Anybody who jump in the ocean and can't swim, gotta trust you. You know what I mean?
I did that. Look at me and Rob. I did that, Rob.
I had you go.
You know what I mean?
I did that.
You did it. We so proud of you.
Trust them the same way. Because I'm not riding a horse in the ocean. So. The thing is, we don't have to be 50-50. As long as we 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. Right.
And I think that's the flexibility of relationship too, because some days I'm a 60, she's a 40, and then other days she's a 70, I'm a 30. But as long as we can match each other based on where we are,
right,
we actually are
able to balance each other out. Right, that's the 100.
Yeah,
they got to get to that 100.
Yeah. I mean, basically, they had to release the idea of balance and find rhythm. Man, I like that.
That's it. I like that.
That's it right there.
Matter of fact, that'll preach.
Won't that preach, man?
That'll
I'm
preach
telling
all
you.
day.
Don't say nothing when you see. We all preaching on the same Sunday.
Listen, no. Let's find out what the text gonna be first.
I know, right?
I mean, because
and while I like that, I think that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Because even when I'm saying, and I just didn't say the word rhythm, but even when I'm saying he understands where I'm at, that's understanding my heartbeat. That's what I'm saying, which is his own rhythm, right? And me understanding him and us trusting each other with each other's heartbeat. That's the rhythm of the relationship. And then understand we each have our own heartbeats, but then we also have one that is as a couple that beats, right? That's that third heartbeat that I don't think a lot of people recognize because we're so busy protecting our own hearts, or we're so busy trying to see what we're going to do for our own selves. But you got to release that self and see what's the greater good for the one too. Sometimes,
absolutely, absolutely,
that's right.
And I think that's definitely that piece of making each other the priority, and that's
right.
That's where it all falls in. I mean, just like you were saying, Pastor Shannon, I think sometimes we have to find that place where we find the strength to tell other folk no, because we know what's most important. You know, I mean, flat out up front. Can you do this? No, I can't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. And if that hurts your feelings or offends you, then you're just hurt and offended. I'm sorry. Right. You know, because oftentimes, especially in ministry, sometimes I see preachers get so engulfed in ministry that they forget the first ministry.
Come on.
Right.
So
and when you forget the first ministry, all the other ministries are null and void. So, you know, it's all about that priority and finding that rhythm. Robin, Mika, I mean, talk to us a little bit. I mean, y'all still new in the game. Talk to us.
Honestly, we're trying to find it. She catches me. I'm more the off balance cat. I'm gonna be quite honest. I'm more the off balance one than she is, and that's honestly because I carry multiple hats. You know, I have ministry, but I'm also a supervisor in corporate on my job. I work for matter of fact, my hospital is number 11 in the United States. So we're in a level 1 trauma center in a major metropolitan area. So I have a lot of issues. I was supposed to be at home at about 3:00 this afternoon. I have to find balance between telling my work folk y'all got to wait till tomorrow, and then also, hey, somebody want me to go do this funeral, somebody want me to preach, somebody want me to do this. And a lot of times she has to catch me and say, hey, you getting a little off kilter, let me pull you back. And you know, I just gotta have enough sense of every now and then I push back because I don't want her to think she the boss. Even though if she says I'm a lieutenant at work, that means she a captain at the house. But I give her a little pushback because if I don't push it back, then she's gonna think she can run over me. But for the most part, I know when to actually stop fighting and when to let go.
Can I push that question just a little bit? I just got to push that just a little bit. When is that moment for you when you basically say, okay, let me step back off of it? What?
I don't know. When to listen to her when to fight back, typically it's instinctive. I know when I've kind of reached it. It all go back to what they say with rhythm. I kind of just know when it makes sense, and I can't. Right. I just know when it makes sense to say, "Okay, you win. I'm tired of arguing with you. You're right. I'm done."
Come on, Mika. Come on.
I honestly think it goes back to what they were saying about choice. He doesn't like me to be mad at him, so it's like, okay, let me stop. You know what I mean? Let me listen. So I think that's when he goes into like, okay, I see what she's saying, but it's more of that. So like what they're saying, they're like, they've been in the game a long time. We're all that stuff they're saying, like
we were there. We can't it take a minute to find your rhythm. To
Absolutely does.
That balance is, and everybody's time is different.
Hold up, y'all. I got somebody knocking. Hold up. Somebody knocking, trying to get in. Let me see if I can let them in.
Hey, y'all.
How are you?
You ran away.
Listen, I couldn't let this conversation go without jumping in on it.
I knew you were coming.
I was like, hold on, kids. Hold on right quick. I did want to add, if I can. So I was thinking about the rhythm thing, and Tevis and I were talking not too long ago about the people really don't prepare you for this phase of life when your kids are really the center of whatever your whole week, your schedule. So not too long ago, we had to look at each other and be like, okay, if we didn't have the kids, what would we talk about? Like, what would we be talking about right now? What would we be doing? And it really was an opportunity to get back to center. And what I said in the comment about, we released the idea of having balance a long time ago, because the more I tried to hold on to that, the more frustrated I became. Like, he's never going to be home every day at 6 o'clock to have dinner with the whole family. That's just not our life. And so I had to release it. And once I did that, then I was able to find the ways in which we could have a rhythm as a family. So that's all I wanted to say. Don't hold on to, I held on to resentment and bitterness far too long. Right. So if I can release somebody from
that's kind of what I was saying too. Like, it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. This, first of all, man don't work no eat. He work all the time. And I like it. So that's our rhythm.
We like to spend money. We got to make it.
So I can't expect him to have baker's hours like somebody else, right? But this is where, even in the rhythm, watch me here, you got to manage your expectations.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Say that one more time. Rewind. Say that.
Even whether it's rhythm, whether it's balance, whatever you want to call it, whether it's working out the details of your relationship, you got to manage your own expectations. Right. And then you got to balance those wants against that expectation. All right, there's certain things I like to do. Can I do them with him home at 5 o'clock? No.
Right.
No.
Right.
And even what makes him happy, because he likes to be moving, he likes to be doing, not me so much. So I have to be, another word we don't like, consideration.
Yeah.
I have consideration for myself. I got to have consideration for what this man likes too.
She'll be back.
She just dropped that bomb. I'm gonna slide right back on in.
She will be back. But I got to add to that.
Different for every family. Like, you can't. The worthies and the Koyas can't do what the DeWitts do, and vice versa. And glean from what you do and make it my own.
Daria just placed a comment up, and that's exactly where I was going. We often place unfair and unknown expectations.
I love the word
and what's worse is
vice versa.
What's worse is we often fall into that trap of comparison. We want to compare ourselves to somebody else.
You cannot.
And so
it cannot be done. It cannot be done. And I mean, it really kind of goes back to what Dr. J was saying. A lot of our bitterness, resentment, and frustration in relationships comes in what we see others have.
Right.
And when we realize we can't have it, then we want to try to make something happen.
But that comparison is based on an often or based on a unvalidated perception.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I want a marriage like Jay-Z and Beyonce. And the reality, when the last time any of you who watched them or listened to their music stepped foot in their house and saw what they look like without the makeup and the lights on? Not nary one of us. So
but it's the same. He got to be Jay-Z. You look at me. But do you really know what I'm doing in my house?
That's my point.
That's it.
A church, but when the last time any of us was there? Because I promise you, I don't want y'all to see nowhere near how silly I am when I ain't on camera. I swear I don't. And I swear I don't even want you hearing half of the conversation that me and her have that make us laugh, because you would probably find yourself not wanting to hear me when I preach.
You'd probably be surprised. We might be similar.
Point blank period.
That part.
But you can't compare yourself to, because when your comparison is based on the unvalidated perception.
Absolutely.
Unvalidated perceptions. I love it.
Right there. That's it. That's it. And all you have to go on is what you see.
Right.
That's all you got to go on. You know, just because I drive a luxury vehicle doesn't mean I don't have a luxury car payment.
That's right.
You know, and the reality of it is, you don't know the sacrifices that I had to make to get there.
Doc Worthy, I'll give you an example, and I've used this in our DYP roundtable before. I had a pastor that I used to work up under, and he told his story. He said he used to drive by this house, set up on this hill, and was real nice. And he said, man, I got to get that house. So one day he just got the gall and the ambition, I don't know what it is, to drive up to this man's house, knock on the door and ask him, man, I just got to know. I love your house. What did you do to get this? The guy said, come on in. Sat down. He said, you want some tea? Had his wife bring him some tea. And he asked the man, he said, oh, you asked me what I do to get this? The guy unstrapped both of his legs and said, took them off and said, this is what I did to get this house. The question I ask you is, are you willing to pay the price that I paid to get what I got?
Absolutely.
Are you willing to go through the fact that if you want a marriage like mine, are you willing to go through the fact that we were in the house at one point with the ceiling falling in and heated by the doggone stove? Or are you ready to walk a mile in my shoes to get what I got? If not, go find your own path and see and take the road that you
That's right.
And that in my mind, Rob, that's the advice that needs to be given to married couples. I think a lot of marriages struggle because they don't want to create their own path.
Right.
It's a lot easier to try to mimic somebody else's.
Stop trying to be templates and create your own.
Yeah, you're right. And you're missing out on the creativity.
The fact is, what's a blessing for me could be a curse for you.
That's exactly right.
Again,
that's exactly right.
Play that again.
What's a blessing for me could be a curse for you.
Y'all feeling good tonight. I see it already. Y'all feeling good.
But honestly, right? Because what's going to bless my life could curse yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, and I'll use your example, Pastor Worthy, if you don't mind, of a luxury car, right? Yeah. Just because I'm driving whatever, right? Don't mean you need to rush out there and get one. That's a blessing for me, but it'd be a curse for you because you ain't at that level to pay for that.
I swear.
But you didn't start with that luxury car. You had to start with that Pinto.
Okay? Because you don't want that bill.
You might be better with the Pinto because I got a bus pass.
You had to get that Honda first.
Can I get on
leaking on the ground?
I mean, this is what Scripture means when it says, "Despise not the day of small beginnings." You know, even in our marriage relationships, you got to learn how to treasure the beginning. And because if you don't treasure the beginning, and I mean, really, Dr. J touched on that too. What's going to happen when the kids are grown and gone?
That's what
and there has been improper balance. Come on, talk to me, Louis. Talk to me.
And we're still here.
You know, and you've invested all of your life into this one area. And now that you back to this, what they call it,
you don't have nothing to reach.
You have nothing to reach for.
Well, I think who was that? Steph Curry said that folks got mad at his wife because she said that when they asked her the order that they were supposed to be going in, she said, "My husband first, then my kids." She said, "Because at some point they're gonna leave."
100%.
And
Yeah.
I mean, she got so much backlash because nobody
It's God, him,
yeah,
and them kids.
yeah, and that's how she basically put it. And people got mad, but the reality is, at some point they're going to grow and leave.
Right.
Absolutely.
And they have their own lives, their own life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand spiritual principles either, so they're not at that place yet. But like what y'all was all saying, if it ain't hot and spicy in the beginning, don't expect for it to be in the end.
That's right.
It burn the hottest when you turn the fire on. You know what I mean? So you can't wait for it to get hot later if it ain't hot now. So my thing is,
come on in the room, sir. Come on in the room.
Bring that gasoline.
Come on in the room.
Again, rewind. Let me do what I do. What you say?
Rewind.
One thing, you can't keep up.
Yeah.
Don't be one way while you dating. That's another thing.
Yeah.
But, it's amazing. I teach our folk at the church all the time that, as a believer, you got to have two buckets at all times.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a bucket of gasoline and a bucket of water.
Mm-hmm.
But experience will show you which one to use at what time.
I like that. Yeah. I like that.
You got to know which one to use. And I think that principle even applies to marriages.
Absolutely.
And being in a marriage, you got to know which bucket to use. If you keep pouring water on something that needs some gasoline, then you're never going to get a hot spice.
That's called wisdom. And wisdom that calls wisdom. But most people, you can't get wisdom. And first off, your eyes got to be open.
Come on.
And second of all, your brain got to be functioning, meaning that my eyes got to be open to every situation, whether good, bad, or indifferent.
Absolutely.
And I have to take mental notes to know what works, when it works. Because over time, I'm still learning my wife, and each time I learn that,
and we grow.
But
also,
that don't quit. People grow.
And that's where you have to learn. That's where you have to have enough sense and wisdom to know when it's time to. One of my favorite podcasts is called The Pivot. You got to know when to pivot.
That is his word. That is his word.
Because what worked today ain't gonna work. What worked today?
Pivot. If it ain't working, cut it out. Pivot.
Even if it ain't work, but even if it did work,
right? Pivot.
Right. But you grow at different age gaps. At different ages, you change.
Right. And watch this now. What works now doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work later.
It won't. It won't.
I mean, as we grow and as we mature, things change. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, we had this conversation Sunday night that the older we get, our bodies are changing. When we first met, we could stay up and talk all night and then go work 10, 8, 10, 12 hours.
in the morning.
16 years later, I'm sorry, we can't do that.
We don't do that now.
I mean,
you gonna have us up past our bedtime now. No.
I
got to go. It's 7:30.
I've been trying to get into bed almost an hour ago.
That part.
Well, since y'all going there, let's go then. Let's go. Because even that is an intricate piece of this conversation. And I think, Pastor Jenny, you said it perfectly. All three of them sort of tie in together. But it's amazing when you think about it. If I'm struggling with one, if you're not careful, that struggle is going to lead
100%
into some other areas. If the balance is off and I feel like I'm not getting the time, then immediately my thought process is going to be, okay, what you doing? Who you doing it with? And then after a while, the desire to be intimate is gone. It's gone. So, I guess that sort of leads to this question. In our relationships, how have we sought to fix that or keep that going? I keep hearing the word pivot. What are the pivots of life? How do we deal with those? Because if you don't, you can't stay in the same place forever.
Right.
Both got to be.
How do we encounter that so that there is strength in our marriage?
Well, you both have to have understanding that you need to move. One can't move without the other, and if y'all get to move, y'all get to move in two different directions. Somebody got to have the wisdom to say, "Hold up, wait a minute, flag on the play. We're not on the same direction."
Right.
And then both of y'all got to sit down and be willing to listen to each other and figure out figure out.
That's good.
But the key thing is listening.
That's good.
That's what I was about to say. That's my favorite word.
You got to listen. Most people get that confused with that word called hearing.
Right.
Hearing acknowledges that somebody's audibly making some noise. Listening is something I need to take in or something I need to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you have to make sure you listen, but then also listen, you also have to watch. Because I call it listening with your eyes. Because your eyes gonna see some stuff that they ain't trying to say.
Absolutely.
Right.
And be able to be and
I heartbeat, because if I got my heartbeat, I'll understand too when they're saying something. But
well, and I guess
the glue piece to glue all that together is discernment. That's Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit to me, and I tell people all the time, it ain't just in your church house or in making a financial. The Holy Spirit operates in all things. Because God brought this together, so He gonna make sure it stay together. So when you got all that knowledge that you've absorbed from listening and hearing and watching, that discernment comes from Holy Spirit. That's what lets you know when to use the gas and when to use the water.
Absolutely. And finding that place that we learn to listen to receive instead of listening to respond. Oftentimes when we get in conversations, we are already thinking about what we're gonna say next.
Right.
You know, and most cases we miss the point that's being made. In our relationships, we've got to learn how to listen to receive. You
listen to receive. I just had this conversation with some of my employees the other day. When you listen to gain knowledge and receive knowledge, you listen to most of, not all of what was said. When you hear or listen to respond, you only heard every third word. You heard about 3 words out of all 7 that was given.
Absolutely.
And 9 times out of 10, you didn't hear the whole thing. That's just like if you ever watch Family Feud. Steve says, name something a man, a Coke. Let me finish the question. Name something a man likes to drink when he with his boy. You ain't heard nothing.
Right. Or think about the Charlie Brown cartoons when the teacher would be talking. That's all you hear. You have not heard. You know,
and I think it's important in a marriage. Like too many times, individuals want to defend their position, right? Individually, right? Instead of understanding that purpose is better than position.
Listen.
And one thing that we understand is the purpose of the DeWitts is better than any individual position we would take.
And if you try to separate it, you're not accomplishing
anything. Yourself. You're in your own purpose to be as one. And you got together for a reason.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? And,
absolutely.
And I gotta trust that reason because it's still there. Right? Still there. Purpose is still there. So am I gonna defend this position to the point that it hurts the purpose?
Wow. And really, that brings to the question, when we have these disagreements, is it worth fighting for or falling out over? I mean, there's too much falling out.
It's too much falling out.
It's too much falling out and not enough fighting. You know, are you willing to fight for it? Dr. Janae, we're not coming for you tonight. We just miss you and love you. That's all. That's all. But I mean, really, sometimes we got to be able to listen to receive. And in that reception, most times it's not even a need for us to say anything.
Nothing.
You know,
that's called healthy fighting, because it's good to be able to disagree, because we don't have to be alike to get along and love each other.
That's true.
You know, so my thing is we differ in a lot of different ways.
Oh, a lot of different.
But that's what makes it great, because we're different, you know. So we can have a healthy fight where we learn how to agree to disagree without injuring
and we had to learn that.
Each other, and that
not injure.
And that took time. That took time. And when you can do that, you can have better conversation. You can have a better
and keep the fight what the fight is about.
Right.
You ain't got to reach back and talk about nothing in 1922. Stop that.
Right. So if you.
No, I'm talking.
Y'all taking all the fun out of fighting tonight, man. Taking all the fun.
Sometimes it prolongs, and you don't have to. I mean, why reach back for stuff that you fought about?
And really, that keeps taking the brick out of your house of trust.
That's right. So now you got to start building all over again.
And in essence, you're continuing to pour more water on a fire that you really want blazed up. You just keep pouring more on it.
Right.
So, you know, it's got to be at a point that is it worth fighting for?
Right.
That's the question.
And sometimes you just got to shut up and stop, go in a corner somewhere and think about what you're doing before you do it.
As my grandmother used to say,
don't have to talk.
It's not just for women, but a wise woman builds her house.
Yes.
Wise man too.
Yes.
You got to build your house, not tear it down, not burn it down.
And I think with us, we've kind of learned
with regret.
Yeah.
But you're the one that did it.
I know.
Right.
We've learned to hit pause, and I've noticed it. And I noticed this the other day. We were having an argument, and how we instinctively know when to hit pause, because we'll be in a drag out, and then somebody will crack a joke, and then somebody else will go with it, and all of a sudden now we just start laughing and we hugged and walked out on.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And I didn't even know how they started. I don't know when it started. I used to get mad when I'm interrupted. That's like one of my pet peeves. I got a point. But somehow we'll start cracking a joke and we just keep going.
She get mad in the bathroom and laugh. I just let her roll off my back. You say, you okay?
We'll be going, edit this. She'll turn on a little big old waterhead. I bet they have no.
That sounds about right. Or have them walk up on you and look at you like, why are you looking like that? Why you think I'm looking like that? I'm mad. That's why.
So you're gonna be mad all day.
Y'all is brothers and sisters for real.
Oh, you're gonna be mad all day?
I'm
Okay.
mad.
I'm hungry.
By now, you okay?
I'm mad, I'm hungry. Let's be mad and go eat.
Right.
And then she'll walk out and you paying for it.
Let's be mad and get a burger.
But again, there's where that balance sometimes when it's off balance, but it's still balanced.
Yep.
Right.
It's balance, and I don't know if we made this point, but it's more about than just balancing workloads, right? There's a balance in the relationship. The points I was trying to make as well. So I don't know if we were that clear, because people might hear us say, well, balance is this. But balance is everything, right? It's everything. We balance each other out.
And then even with that piece of workloads and things of that nature, we understand we in this together. You know, we just pull through it together. We work at it together. We got to move away from this thought process of yours and mine. This is ours. Wow. We in this together. I mean, you know, your struggle, my struggle. And the only way we win is that we fight it together.
And God forgive me, everybody do their house over, but I'm always amazed when they be like, oh, she got the light bill, I got the whatever bill. Well, she don't pay the light. Hey, both y'all in the dark.
Both y'all in the dark.
They gonna cover that.
I got the extra batteries in the gas. Like, going in there.
Like you got a generator. She don't pay the bill. I got a generator.
Rob got the battery. Rob got batteries. See, that makes all the difference.
Yeah, listen, I guess it works for them, but for me, you know, we have that understanding. We in this together, right? Yeah. If I fall short, and he said it earlier, he's got to be that soft place I land, and vice versa. The world beats us up enough.
Absolutely.
And why you go home and get beat up? I don't know.
You're going to make mistakes.
And I guess with that too, it comes with finding that strength within each other to basically be able to pick up on, okay, something's wrong. Something's wrong. You know, before it gets there.
That's right.
Right.
Let's deal with it.
And you also got to be willing to push for it, because I'm gonna tell you now, we just now get it. We're now starting to, I guess, meld. We're almost 2 years in this thing. Just now starting to meld a lot of our lives, that kind of financial aspect, just starting to put it together. But I think from jump, we've had the idea that all the money in the house was all the money in the house. We just now in the process of starting. So if you're just starting out, don't get frustrated. Don't get mad. You got to realize I hit 40 when we got married, and she's close to it. So the reality of it is that you've had all this time by yourself, and it's both our first marriage. So you had all that time by yourself to create all your isms, your kisms, and all the other stuff you got going on.
Yeah.
So don't get mad when you don't.
And I'm in a different place because, like, we started young, so we were on the struggle bus together.
Right. But you know, actually, Rob, you make a great point, because the reality is sometimes we got to learn how to take the time to deal with our baggage, that single baggage, before we even start thinking about coming together to build.
Well, like I said the last time, we got baggage, but the baggage ain't the problem. I knew what baggage I brought here.
Yeah.
And I tried to deal with the baggage when I first got here. Remember, I said last time, it's not the baggage that's the problem, it's the lint in your pocket that you didn't realize that was still there. The residue from some of the stuff you thought you dealt with.
Right.
And that's the culture. That's the culprit. Because the baggage, you know you don't like this, you don't like that. And you very much aware of what baggage you bring. It's that stuff that you thought you dealt with, that when she turns around and makes this move to the left, move to the right, it reminds you of that last thing that you thought you had forgiven some ex for. And now all of a sudden her face looked just like your ex. And she started being Jesus Christ for your last relationship. You know, I started nailing her to a cross for something she had nothing to do with.
And the worst struggle is that they don't know that they are being crucified for something that they didn't commit.
Right.
They don't realize it. And until we effectively and openly communicate that, look, this is a scar, this is a wound that I'm still treating, you know.
And nothing to do with toothpaste.
It's gonna end up happening. You know, please let's not talk about toothpaste tonight. Please, for my sake, please don't talk about toothpaste tonight.
Now I want to know.
No, we're not going to discuss that.
She was squeezing from the middle when it got under my skin. So instead of arguing about it, she got his toothpaste now. I got my toothpaste.
So you
right out of our house. I'm telling our story.
We got two separate ones too.
We got two different. Yeah.
But it works. There's no need to arguing about who's squeezing it from the middle.
Stop it. Period. Why you keep arguing about it?
$1 and some change could fix that.
But that's really a great observation. It's something how we can make something so big out of something so small.
So small.
And now all of a sudden we're ready to fall out. We don't want to stay with each other. We're not sleeping with each other. Sexual relationship is at an all-time low. Everybody frustrated, you know, and it's only because it could have taken something so simple to take care of it. You know, I think all of us will agree that a lot of our struggles are so minute because we want to amplify the struggle and not really work toward a solution.
Come on. That's it. I'm stuck because we love to amplify the problem.
That's it. You know, I get more attention when I amplify the problem.
Right.
You know, I get more attention.
The attention is from the outside folks.
Exactly.
Right.
And if you're not careful, they wreak havoc.
Listen, and that's gonna break the trust, and that's gonna cause an imbalance. Like it just all goes back to this whole circle of dysfunction you can find yourself on when you I'm gonna say it again because y'all liked it when I said it the first time. When you are defending your position instead of working towards your purpose of one. You understand what I mean? So you get caught up in what everybody else say, what everybody else is doing. You know, so-and-so told me his marriage like that. So-and-so is lying to you.
That's it. That's it. And then you got to watch them folks you confide in.
Oh Lord,
you got to watch them.
They trying to control you.
You know, because it is crazy, but I got to help somebody's marriage tonight. The person you confide in might be the one that's cheating on you.
Right.
In all honesty, it is amazing.
Want your spouse? No, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
They might want
your spouse.
Betting on you.
No, want you not to have your spouse.
That too.
And they know what
it
takes.
Next thing you know, they where you were.
Yeah, you done gave them all the information.
Give them all the ammunition to work
They
with.
come in and do the exact opposite of what you were doing.
Okay, I know not to do that.
Right. I know not to do that.
Thanks for telling me.
Basically, you've made it easy. You made it easy for me to slide right in.
You made it easy for the clean up woman.
I want to help somebody today.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not, you broke trust.
Yeah.
Because you trusted somebody else more than you did your spouse.
That's right.
You know, and that's why I be and I've heard this argument previously, not with my husband. But anyway.
You put that out there.
Sure ain't today. But you know, it wasn't cheating. Sure it was. It was emotional.
It was cheating.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you gave them your conversation, your time, you trusted them with information that I didn't know. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That is a break that needs to be healed.
And what ends up happening is, I'm gonna say this to y'all. I say this because I got a friend that did that. He was always with this person. They just was talking, and then one thing led to the other things took place. Stop dipping your toes in pools you ain't ready to swim in.
I got that right.
That's it. That's it.
Stop dipping your toes in pools you ain't ready to swim in. If you ain't ready to step outside, don't even entertain it.
Right.
You will find out it will easily. You go over to dip your foot in that pool, and you start cramping, and now you're drowning in it.
Okay. Right. You got the right wife, I'm gonna hold you under the water.
Yeah, and where's the integrity in it? That's the thing. Where's the integrity? I mean,
yeah.
See, that's why we got to watch you. See, that's the very reason why we got to keep an eye.
If I come up dead or something,
we already know.
Come up dead.
Hey, DeWitt, all I'm gonna say, we've had this conversation. We already know.
But guess what? To put a word on this, if you talk to your spouse, you don't have no business talking to nobody else.
Yeah.
Those are your intimate thoughts. Those are the conversations you should be having.
100%.
And you want to worry about leaking nothing if you're talking to your spouse. Just trust that. Just trust that person. Once you trust that person, you can get anything you want from her that you can get from anybody else and more.
Your marriage used to be like the holies of holies. Only certain folks is allowed back there.
Right.
And the thing about it is, if that person really cares, once they've heard you, they're willing to make the adjustments.
100%.
Let me give it back to you.
But that's one thing I love about Mama Carol. Mama Carol and she probably gonna end up looking at this. I love Mama Carol because a lot of times I get frustrated with her and I just got to go somewhere. My auntie be like, she just sit there and listen. And she be like, well, I ain't never been married, so you need to go back home and fix your marriage. Bye. And she would literally kick us. And not only did she do it to me, she do it to her two sons. She listen to us and let us vent. She like, you done now? Go back home and fix your marriage. Bye.
Go home and fix it. That's it.
And she would put us out. Like literally.
Great person. I love your aunt.
She still kick us out.
Because that's the right advice.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No, and really that's what a true friend does anyway.
Right.
You know, before I become a part of your detriment, go back, straighten it out.
Right.
Fix it. You know. So I mean, really, and that really leads into that intimacy part, because think about this, when you think about that word intimacy, I mean, you just said something. Into me.
Oh wow.
That's all intimacy is.
Yeah, I got all these sermons coming up. That's
into me. See, look deep, and you're gonna find exactly where my aspirations are. You're gonna find where my dreams are. You're gonna find where my visions are. You're gonna find where my wounds are. You know, you're gonna find what hurts me. You're gonna find what
right.
But the funny is, we want the physical without understanding the spirit and the soul.
Absolutely.
We are a 3-part being. We're mind, body, and soul. And you can't be intimate with my body and you haven't engaged my mind and my soul.
That's right.
I mean, true intimacy begins with that compliment.
Right.
Girl, you weighing that.
Listen.
You know.
Right there.
Can't wait for you to get home, girl. Can't wait for you to get home.
You might don't make it out the house.
Your minister friend, watch this. So he's looking at her with almost a spirit, I want to say a little bit of despisement, right? Because he sees her interacting with these people, right? But that's a great quality she has to me, right? And you need to extol her for that and not be mad that you ain't getting the same thing. Because honestly, are you trying to bring that out in her? Because those people are doing something that's bringing that out in her. Like, that's just my opinion. I ain't no expert. I ain't no doctor with no degree, as Aretha said. But in my life experiences, what I understand that my husband does for me that makes me okay with, when behind closed doors, is that he understands the better parts of me and extols that. You understand what I'm saying? So that when I doubt myself, when I feel like, I got to go deal with these people at church and everywhere else. And then you as a minister, I'm trying to do this for you and you ain't even understanding that part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to be here and be the first lady, be the pastor. He trying to be the first man because I'm the pastor, whatever. And so when I'm here and I'm acting this way, that's also my tribute to you, and you're not even accepting that.
Right. Right.
So now how I translate that as an act of war almost. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not even appreciating what I'm trying to bring to the church you belong to, that you're a minister at. And now I stand by your side and I'm trying to be respectful and smile, even though I know things ain't right. But this is my way of honoring you, and you looking at it as something I'm doing to be fake or phony, and that's not even what it is. In my opinion.
I think the bigger question is with that, what are you bringing to the table? If there's no hot sauce on the table, go get some. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to.
Say it again.
We got to learn how to bring something to the table. I need to bring something that wants to make her comfortable.
It all to be right.
Yeah. Instead of worrying about what's going on everywhere else, let me make sure the table is so prepared.
Come on.
While she's out there, she's already knowing, hey, when I get home, this is waiting for me. That's waiting for me. I think sometimes, if I could say this, and I'm dealing with Christians, but let me be honest.
Be honest.
We are so deep, we don't know when to be spiritual.
Man,
right.
So heavily minded.
We are too spiritual. We don't even know when to be human.
Right.
Let me talk to Christian couples tonight.
You talk to me because I want to say something to the ladies. Go on.
Let me talk to Christian couples tonight. Sometimes it comes a point where you're gonna have to learn how to put on Luther and put the hymn book down.
I ain't even take the book home.
Sometimes, really, sometimes you got to learn how to say, let me get close to you instead of singing, Jesus, keep me near the cross. There's got to be that.
I ain't gonna lie to you, ain't nothing sexy about no hymn. I ain't never wanted to be in there with my wife and be like,
come on now.
I want to hear closer than close, not just a closer walk.
We've got to, sometimes we over spiritualize so much that we forget we are human.
Yes.
And because we forget, and I think
and you literally were going to say what I was going to say to the women, because my advice is going to put on that red dress.
That's what I'm saying. No, forget the red dress. No, forget that.
A red baby doll.
Right. Really, especially, and I'm talking married couples.
Married.
Better clarify that, yes, sir.
I'm talking married couples now. Because really, in a real sense, these are the folks that are struggling.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
everybody what they want to do. Right.
Yeah,
right.
I'm saying.
Isn't that funny? And then you get in the marriage and act like you can't clap it no more.
Come on.
I don't care.
I heard Pastor say, and this is so funny.
But why you out there single? You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah. He said, some of y'all are so busy speaking in tongues, you don't know when to speak in tongues.
Right.
I'm but I believe that alone.
Yeah, leave that
but
alone.
I think it's because we've made we spend so much in our early, and I think the reason, Doc, stop me if you think I'm wrong, but I think one of the reasons the married bed is so it's so taboo to talk about sexuality and everything is because when we came up, it was so taboo.
Yeah,
right.
If we would spend the time talking about it because it's a natural part. That's one of the reasons. And honestly, we've also been shunned away.
And we don't talk about our expectations beforehand.
And we also got the problem is we start talking about like the Bible say don't shack where. Now if we start talking about, just tell me where it is. We've been told that, but could nobody actually explain where it was, why, and the reason why you should not do these things, like them soul ties that come along with dipping and slipping before you actually got some commitment. You understand? Nobody talks about that stuff, so we made it so taboo that when the time that the Lord said it was okay for us to entertain this stuff, it's still taboo for us to even talk about it.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
A lot of them to even do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, all they know and want to do is missionary, and that's supposed to be it.
We on a mission. We on a mission. We on a mission.
John, let me get this drink.
Come on, they think anything else is unholy and unholy.
Exactly right.
And
what he's talking about is another.
And in the meantime,
but you need to. Somebody needs to.
Somebody needs to have this conversation. Right.
Listen, if your spouse trusts you and you go in there with that intimacy with no judgment, it's okay.
Intimacy with no judgment.
Intimacy
and I think, again, that goes back to trust. I'm trying to bring this around.
Man, it's fitness all day. No judgment zone.
Man, it's fitness. If you can be no judgment in the gym, why not at home?
Right. Because you go there and do anything, wear anything, look anyway, and then you want to get home and put on robes and stocking caps and come to bed with footies on. And my God, cold.
Somebody ain't reading the Bible. That's all I'm going to say. Somebody not reading the Bible, because the Bible says that a marriage bed is undefiled. There's no holes barred.
Yeah.
Right.
Some marriages, y'all need to turn the heat up.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
Turn the heat up and turn off the lights.
Yeah, I knew he was coming. Turn it off. Put off. Don't put on the red dress. Pull it off. That's what you do.
Yes.
That's what you do.
But you know, again, I'm gonna go back to the power of choice too, right? Because I'm being real honest. Like sometimes you just have to do it even when you don't feel like it. Period.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, because I'm gonna be honest. I'm not in the mood every time.
That's just because I still need a lot of practice, so I keep going.
I mean, especially if you get after a certain age. Then
the power of choice, right? I choose to be intimate. Don't laugh at them with my right. You have to make the choice, right? Mm-hmm. And understand again, is it worth fighting over? It's not.
Yeah.
Give him some of your time, sis. Bruh, give her some of your time.
Them 9 minutes is not going to put you out. It will save marriages in the end.
Well, you said 9. I said 3. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm just saying it. I ain't want to say it.
My 42 seconds.
Hey.
I'm breathing on it.
I'm 50 plus with a little help. You know what I
mean? Look.
I mean, y'all straight up. We laughing, but it's conversations like this that need to be had. You need to have this conversation.
Yeah.
It's not gonna put you out. Sis, you got a headache, take it out though. Had a bad day with the kids, it's a great way to get released.
Right. Get yourself together.
You have to be open and have this kind of dialogue, because again,
yeah, absolutely.
Your marriage is not gonna survive if you so holy, as my auntie used to say, so heavenly minded that you know earthly good.
Right.
Meaning that you got your head so far up in the clouds and so holy and admired and glory. I need somewhere, especially as a preacher, I'm gonna tell you, I need somewhere where I can be robbed. And that was one of the things I said. I told my wife when we first got together what made me attracted to her. Because she asked me, why didn't I find somebody at the church? I said, because I wasn't looking for nobody at the church, because I also the people at the church couldn't handle Rob. They know how to deal with Reverend Collier, but they can't handle Rob.
That's right.
And I swear Rob put Mika through a whole lot of stuff that I applaud her every day. That's why, every day I get up, I tell her she's the physical manifestation of God's favor on my life, because honestly, she's where I think Worthy, you said you need to have somewhere you can show your behind.
And people still respect you.
And honestly, she gives me that.
Absolutely.
So we actually have these kind of conversations all the time, and it's good to let somebody know that if you and your husband are having these kind of conversations like we're having now, you ain't by yourself. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
If you can't do that in front of your wife, then you can't do it in front of your wife, then that's the problem. That's a problem.
It is.
You know, I hear people all the time say, well, you know.
But I trust you with me.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if you, who I'm going to tell? I'm keeping my goodies for me. You know what I mean?
That's just when we can be stingy. That's
right. You can be selfish here.
Look, I tell the folk at the church, you know, she works at the church. This is the one person I can sexually harass and don't have to ever worry about getting sued.
Right.
I mean, that's just
she always said, she always said, if I work back where you are, I'm gonna tell him what you doing. I said, it ain't sexual harassment.
It is not.
Put a wing on it.
That's it.
Boys, I got a little secret. I'm gonna let y'all in and all the marriage couples. But y'all won't never get these charges. See, my wife would tell me, we got a little thing when we buy. You buying tonight? Well, you paying tonight. You got to make it a game. You got to make it something fun. You got to come up with.
He speaks my love language.
Everything. You know what I mean? And you know, the more I'm telling she's getting. I mean, you know, some guys make my 9 minutes go to 7, but you know, the thing is, you got to do what you got to do to keep that spark going.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Quit being boring. You're there to enjoy each other. Do it. If it's a task, then maybe you shouldn't be together.
That's what we were created for.
Right. If it's a task. Who eats and keep eating it?
If there's no fun in it, you're missing out. That's the reality.
Expand who you are, because one thing about me, one thing she ain't gonna expand, and that's my palate, because I eat what I eat, and that's it. I already told her that ain't gonna happen. But she also pulls me out of my. And she know that you ain't gonna make it. If I don't like it, I ain't eating it. That's why I go to work every day.
Right. And even though my wife makes a beef stew, I eat.
I can say this last trip when we came down to North Carolina, we stopped at Myrtle Beach. She forced me to do something I don't do, which I don't like staying in between my toes, and I don't like being I didn't like that, but the reality was she really wanted to do it, so I opened up to do something that I don't do and I don't like. I was liking it, but the reality of it is, I didn't tell her that until just now. But the reality, I didn't tell her I liked it, but you have to be willing to try different things.
See, you told her you liked it.
Yeah. What were you saying, Mika?
Oh, I slowly tried to get. He's just stubborn.
When it comes to me eating food, certain foods, I'm just not doing it. Hey, my daddy tried that when I was a kid, and he said one day you're gonna.
I just started trying stuff at 50. Well, I didn't even eat seafood till I met him.
Right. Go to the States.
And that's the thing about your spouse; they'll open you up to new experiences if you trust them and you let them. Happen. I don't like it. Okay, I don't eat it, but I tried it. Like even with the excursions, I've gotten to an age where I just want to try things. Want to try?
Yes, Shannon.
And I opened them up to new experiences.
I'm glad.
I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to say it one time, and I'm going to leave it alone. How in the world could you have a woman let y'all go jump in the ocean and cannot swim? My God.
But I can swim, so I was good.
You started singing a song they was familiar with. Take me to
Listen.
That was a lot of water.
But that was a lot of water, brother. Let me try and tell you. When you in there and can't and you don't ever touch the ground, that's deep water. That's deep.
Scary and fun. But absolutely. My point is saying that is that sometimes, you know, you again, you in the oneness, right? There's gonna be stuff he like, I don't like, vice versa. Again, and even though he said about the minutes, it takes nothing from your life.
Nothing.
Try it. To just put yourself out there for a minute. What the worst that can happen is I don't like it. Okay, but guess what? Your spouse gonna know you tried it for that.
I tried it.
And if they have respect, they'll respect that and understand. I'm not going to do anything that's going to make her uncomfortable.
Right.
If it makes her uncomfortable, then that makes me uncomfortable, and that's it. So now we go to the next thing: skydiving. We still talk about intimacy, but
I ain't finna do no skydiving. Y'all on your own with that.
Hold on. Jesus said, "Lo, I'm with you always."
Y'all got me in the plane. I ain't doing no skydiving now. I ain't gonna jump out the plane. Y'all finally got me in.
Skydiving could be fun.
But we are gonna do parasailing.
Only fall I'm doing is in love with my wife. That's all I'm doing.
And we make these points to say, and I know it seems like we're off track, but we're really not. We make these points. Again, it goes back. You got that trust. You got that soft place to land. The bedroom becomes open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? You got that. I tried that scallop for you, or that escargot. I tried the snail on the ship, whatever. Because my husband was like, try it. I was like, I tried it. It wasn't bad, but I'm like, I just can't get over the fact it's snail. Like, I'm not doing that no more. I tried it. It didn't take nothing from me. I did not die. Like the young kid, did you die though? No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
It's fine. Right? And so if I could trust you in those things, I can trust you in the bedroom.
Absolutely.
If I see you have consideration for me here, I can have consideration for you there. Like you know what I mean? It works together.
There's that balance piece again too.
Right.
Right back coming in. Absolutely. Y'all, I tell you, this has been awesome. This has been so much fun. So much fun. Absolutely, so much fun. See for this, Shannon, we're gonna take 2 weeks off your 5-year probation just for this. 2 weeks.
I can't get
2 weeks.
She thought you were gonna say 2 years.
2 years. 2 weeks.
Nope.
2 weeks.
You know, the Lord is like 1,000 years, so I'm off probation. That's what I'm
okay. And the Lord dies. Okay.
But in the world is eyes.
Listen, guys, I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for connecting with us. Dr. J, thank you so much for jumping in for a few seconds. We appreciate you. Yeah, this has truly been absolutely great. And my heart's desire through these conversations is that marriages are strengthened.
Yes.
And that we have new look on marriage and building stronger marriage less divorces, building stronger marriage relationships. Look, marriage is what you make of it. That's it's what you make of it. So you got a choice in what you make of it and how you make of it. So I just want to encourage married couples, look, put in the fight.
Yeah.
You said I do for a reason. Put in the fight.
Remember why you said
fight for it. Remember why. Go ahead, say it again.
Remember why you said I
do.
That's
right. Go on, preach my sermon. Remember why you said I do. And as long as you can remember that, everything else is going to fall into place. You know, love God first, love your spouse next. And I mean, you love them as much as you love God. I promise you, the worlds that will be open unto you.
Learn how to love God first. I promise you, loving your spouse and everybody else be easy.
Yes, so much easier. Absolutely.
All in reality is everybody wants the same exact thing. Time, attention, all of it.
And talents.
Time, talent, and treasure.
Yeah.
Time, talent, and treasure. That's really all it is, you know, in making the most of it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. And thank you everybody for jumping in. I tell you, this comment feed has been lit tonight.
That's good.
Oh, they wide open tonight. Thank you guys so much for it. Y'all know I love y'all. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Up next, I think it's gonna be the ladies' version of "I'm Saved and I'm Struggling." Dr. Keisha's gonna head that up for me. I pray, please, Dr. Keisha.
That's gasoline and give us some water. So, because
no, I'm gonna let her let her come with that gasoline, bro. I'm trying to tell you. So that's coming up next, the ladies' edition of how ladies deal with struggles. There's some struggles you sisters are dealing with and knowing how to overcome. So we're building that panel, and I'm looking forward to it. And then we're going to wrap it up with, of course, our professional segment Dr. J is coming back with a couple more professionals who deal with this on a day-to-day basis. Dr. J, you are right. Pastor Keisha is no joke. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's going to be a phenomenal conversation. I'm looking forward to it. And then we'll wrap up, Dr. J, with you and a couple of other professionals who deal with this on a day-to-day basis and see if we can just talk about it and share some continual advice and some tips so that we can overcome our struggles and be victorious in every area of our lives. That's really what it's all about. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Thank you all for watching. Be blessed. Have a good night. Know as always, beloved, we love you all. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
DYP for life. Love you.
That was great.